What is a rubber shad? Well, the truth of the matter is a rubber shad is very deadly and is one of my favorite lures and is probably one of my go-to when I'm not sure what kind of water I'm fishing. But the objective of fishing a rubber shad and people wondering, you know, how to fish it. And it's very, very easy. The key thing is, you know, you have to understand what's going on in the water, first of all. You have to understand what kind of bait fish. And the beauty with the rubber shad is, you know, there's many different sizes and imitates, but the key thing is profile. You know, if you can't match the hatch, then you're going against yourself. So if you know there's bunker around for that matter, you know, go with the large ones. They work. And I'll tell you how I'm going to fish it. And if there are areas that you need to go really deep, go with the fatty ones because it goes down nice and deep. And sometimes, you know, very skin, low profile, and sometimes you can modify. You can basically modify if you want to go deeper and lower in profile, you basically do this. Big head and a small body. Now the question is, and I get asked very often, and what I like to do is how to fish it. The key thing is fish it very close to the bottom, you know, and just like a bucktail, you know, if you're not going to lose a bucktail, you're not fishing, you're not using it right. That goes exactly the same thing with this. And the objective is to work with these paddles. The paddle is actually, it vibrates, and and fish have lateral lines, and because they have lateral line, they can sense it. And this paddle tail here sense that vibration, and it actually it is an attractant, and fish will kind of tune into it, and they'll strike it. But again, fish it really slow, close to the bottom, and you gotta feel this paddle tail flutter, you know. And like you do fishing a rip line, you know, just like a bucktail, you do the same principle, cast it up tide and hit it on the strike zone and just get it really close to the bottom and just hold on, because when they hit this thing, when you're working it right, you know, they will literally pound hard on it and practically try to take the rod out of your hands. Work it nice and slow and bounce the bottom as close to the bottom as possible. And you need to feel the tail flutter. If you don't feel the tail flutter and it's fluttering a little too fast, you know, you're going too fast. The key thing is you have to feel it vibrating just like this, a nice little flutter, and that's how you know you're working it right. If you know that there's bunker around, you go large profile. If you know there's a mullet around, you take it down to a smaller profile. And if there are killies or burgals, you take it to a smaller profile. The objective is, you know, try to match the hatch. And it's always good when you're fishing out there. Just don't go out there with your blinds on. Go out there, take a pause, look around, take a look at the water, and that, you know, just staring at the water, try to find out what kind of bait fish is in the area. It goes a long way. Let's talk about something this size. You know, a lot of people will think that, you know, it's big and heavy and they'll work it on a very strong current. No, if you really want to get the big fish, work it near the slack water, as close to the bottom as possible. And just work it slow, bounce on the rocks, bounce on the ledges, on the rip lines. You know, that's what you got to do. But this will work immensely in round slack water. And I could tell you, most of my big fish are caught in near the slack water with something this big and this kind of profile.